you ready to master the waves of medical device product development? Well, wax up your surfboard because you are listening to Inspired by Imua. And here is your medical device product development expert, that Hawaiian-hearted hostess who will help you hang 10, Meghan Alonso.
Como mai and aloha. You're listening to Inspired by Imua, where we help you master the waves of medical product development. Each week, we interview guests that educate, guide, and inspire to give you and your product the skills you need to hang 10. If this is your first time listening, Imua is a Hawaiian word. It's spelled I-M-U-A, meaning to advance forward with passion despite rough waves. There are plenty of those in medical product development, but keep listening because we've got you covered. So welcome back. I'm glad you're with me today, and I have a different treat for you. We talked about a conference earlier a few weeks ago. I interviewed Bill Carpoo of OCTANE, and I just got back recently from the Medical Device Investor Forum, and I wanted to give you a lot of inspiration. I know developing a product is not easy. I know that a lot of you have had these ideas in your head for a while and just kind of thinking, how do I get them out of my head and onto the market? What do I do next? Oh, this seems so hard. I don't know if I could ever do that. And I made it a point to talk with quite a few startup companies when I was there. There was lots pitching for investments, and then there was also just lots of them walking around looking for investment, exhibiting, talking about their product, just building up some hype, which is great to do, by the way. If you are not out there networking, go ahead and start yesterday. You need to get out there and learn from people. In addition to that, sure, I'll toot my own horn. You need to be listening to the podcast. You need to be checking out our video blogs. I have free trainings that I do on YouTube. If you're more of a visual person, you can get it there. If you don't really care about the visuals, then just play it on your computer and walk around and do something else. So what I did, I compiled some audio for you from various startups that I talked to. I asked them about their company, so you'll hear what's going on out there. And this is local somewhat to Orange County, California. But what's going on there. And I talked to them about what's been really tough for them. If they were just starting out now, or if they met someone just starting out now, what advice that they would give. So these are real stories from real startups with real advice for you. So don't just take my word for it, take their word for it. So if you don't already know, I have a program and it's in beta right now. So you have the opportunity to go through this program for free. So whatever you're doing right now, unless it's dangerous, if you're driving, don't do this. You can wait. So you can either head on over to imua-services.com/IIPP. That stands for Invention Idea to Profitable Product. Or you can text the word invention to 44222. So either one of those will give you information about this program. And fill out the application. I'm accepting them till November 30th. But hey, if you catch this after November 30th, head on over there anyway, because there'll be some treats for you. And that just means that the program is being refined and then it will be released soon for the paid version. So we'll jump into the audio. I do want to say that a funny thing happened and I am so bummed about this. So on our first segment of interviews here, towards the end, I get an interruption and I thought I was capturing the interview and I missed it. So I missed the interview with Gigi the penguin. Darn it. So I would like to give a shout out to Matthew Peterson of Mind Research. He was my translator for Gigi the penguin. Gigi is spelled Jiji. Mind Research has got some cool things going on with STEM education. Check it out. They have this adorable penguin who was at the event walking around making friends with everyone, of course. And I'm going to put a picture of myself and Gigi the penguin on the show notes page today. So you can head on over to imua-services.com, or the homepage for this podcast, actually, just inspiredbyimua.com. That'll take you right there to the podcast page. Okay, without further ado, we'll jump into our interviews. Hope you enjoy it. So say your name and the company that you are involved in right now, because I know it's several.
Hi, I'm Rich Henson, founder of Phage Tech.
So Rich, what would you say, and Phage Tech is not your first company that you started up. What's been the best part about the startup journey? You have your ups and downs, but at the end of the day, what's your favorite part?
Well, the satisfaction of getting it right is the ultimate reward. It's constantly rewarding, no matter what. You know, working with incredible people, smart people, getting something accomplished that's never been accomplished before. There's a whole list of things like that.
Yeah, well, good. And
A&L Gates.
Okay, Byron Shen with Velox Biosystems. We're in the diagnosis space.
And then Byron, what has been your favorite part about being involved in a startup?
Yeah, for me, I think that it's creating something new that nobody has done before. So that's always very, very interesting, very exciting.
Yeah, so actually both of you guys are in the diagnostic space. And there's a giant penguin right behind us.
That's what happens in this business.
I wish I could interview the penguin.
Yeah, you should interview the penguin.
I wish this was on video.
Video? Do you have a video with you?
No, not with me. So, what do you see?
She's a little trickier to catch up on.
Okay, so yeah, my name is Simaf Bishahaluk. I'm a part of Evento Technologies, and what we've done is we've developed Milk Tracker, which is a comprehensive feeding and breast milk tracking system for NICU nurses in the NICU or the PICU in the hospital space. So healthcare errors are the third leading cause of death in the United States, and our aim as a company is to help bring down that number as much as possible. And the very first flagship product that we've developed is Milk Tracker. So the typical scenario when you don't have a piece of software in place is that a nurse tells and informs the mom that the mom needs to pump the breast milk and provide the breast milk to the hospital because the baby is premature. So the baby can't latch on and needs to sit in the beds and go through the typical premature baby process. So when the mom pumps the breast milk and provides it to the hospital then has some sort of labeling system or handwrites notes on who the bottle is intended to be fed to. Then the bottle is put in the fridge or the freezer, and at some later point, when maybe it's someone else's shift, some other nurse's shift, she grabs the bottle from the fridge, reads the label on it, and then walks over to the bed of the baby, reads the barcode or the bracelet on the baby, and makes sure that those numbers match. And then she flags down a second nurse and say, "Hey, nurse 2, can you come by and please take a look and verify that these two labels are matching?" So already we've got a system where not only do we need 2 nurses to verify the feeding, but it can also be done handwritten. There's no digital method to scan it or to verify, and there's a giant gap in technology in the space. So what we've done is we've created a barcoding system where we provide mom a ream of labels that she can go home with, and she essentially peels off the label, attaches it to the bottle, and then that bottle can be sent to the hospital, and that hospital can then scan these bottles to verify whether or not the baby can be fed that particular milk. The application also helps with efficiency. You don't require that second nurse. Now you have a piece of technology in the way that prevents that eye fatigue. At 3 a.m. in the morning, 1s begin looking like 7s, 3s begin looking like 8s, and there's a really big disconnect here on getting tired on a 12-hour shift and being able to provide the best service required for a baby that has been born premature. So the application itself sort of verifies that the nurse is going through her workflow correctly. And then in addition to that, we also handle donor milk as well as nutrients, fortification, and a bunch of different parts of the nurse's daily workflow that'll sort of help with efficiency inside of the NICU workplace.
My name is Mandy Gadget. We're with Refic Technologies. Our product is called the Sugar Cube.
So what is the Sugar Cube? Tell me a little bit about that.
The Sugar Cube is a revolutionary diabetes lifestyle management app. We're not only just an app, we're a glucometer and test kit for type 1 and type 2 diabetics. Our glucometer meter and test kit will be Bluetooth to our mobile app. So when you test yourself before you take your insulin or after you take your insulin, it'll be Bluetooth to our mobile app, which is free right now on the Apple Store.
So tell me, I know being a startup company, you've had your share of ups and downs, and it's a difficult journey. So what's been the hardest part for you guys?
The most complicated part for us is getting a network of people that understand your realm of what you do. A lot of people understand diabetes, but not understand how it affects your life. And meeting people in that industry is difficult, especially you move from out of state and you're in a new town or new city. Your network is just a lot smaller, and finding funding for that, it's even more difficult.
Mm-hmm. If you were to give one piece of advice to someone just starting out, just starting with their idea, what would you tell them?
I would say keep trying. Use your social network, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Ask your questions out there. I've asked random questions and people give me, hey, try this guy or talk to this person or look this website up, and you start picking up little things that you need. But if you give up, you're gonna feel disappointed. You're definitely gonna be a little heartbroken that your dream hasn't been gone out because you didn't really try. And it's easy to try now. Everything is on Google. You can even go to a coffee shop and ask someone. They're like, do you know anyone who's diabetic? And they might not know anyone who's diabetic, but they will know someone that knows someone that knows someone. So I think it's a lot easier to get a network of people, but to keep that consistency in your circle is probably a little more difficult.
Okay. Well, thank you.
So my name is Natto Sosa, and I'm the Chief Technology Officer for a biotech company called Velox Biosystems.
So tell us a little bit about Velox Biosystems.
So Velox Biosystems has a technology that can find microbes like blazingly fast. So currently, the fastest technologies take at least 8 to 16 hours to find bacteria, but gold standard technology is really about 2 or 3 days. But we do all of that in about an hour.
So being part of a startup, I know you have your ups and downs, and it's a long, arduous journey. What's one of the toughest moments you've ever had as a startup, or one of the hardest things about being a startup?
Okay, so I think for me personally, one of the hardest things that I've had to struggle with on my end is how my personality and leadership style fits in with other personality and leadership styles. And when you're a startup, there's a lot of chefs in the kitchen, and everybody's input is valuable. And it's been a journey for me to sort of learn how I fit in a kitchen with 3 or 4 chefs, and how I can adjust to make what we try to do as a team the most efficient and the most productive and the most fruitful. And so that's been a really big. I've had a lot of growth as a consequence of having to not be the only chef in a kitchen, which is sort of what I've been used to. But when you get into a startup, you generally have a lot of people that are ambitious. You're not going to be in a startup unless you're ambitious, and unless you like risk, and unless you like to sort of, challenge the status quo. And if you're not in a startup, it's very hard to find other people like that. But then once you do all come together, there's this period where everyone's sort of finding where they fit. And we all have the same goal. So I think, as long as everyone's trying to do that, you're good. But that's been one of the things I've struggled with, the past 6 months.
Yeah, I think that's a really great lesson that I haven't heard yet, and just leveraging each team member's strengths and where are you most efficient? Okay, well, I'm going to have you do this. Why I'm a little bit better at this electrical engineering, so I'm going to focus on that.
Yeah. And so when you have clear-cut skill sets, it's I think it's a little bit easier. But once what if everyone's good at electrical engineering? Then at that point there's this ego battle of well, I should do the electrical engineering because XYZ, or what if everyone sort of sucks at market research, but the market research needs to get done. So there's a lot of compromise. But I think once you find the flow and sort of accept the role and focus on the end goal, it becomes a lot easier. And then once your team synergy starts to flow, like everything's really, really good, and it's nice.
Yeah. So if you had one piece of advice for not even a company yet, just maybe one or two people that say, yeah, we have this great idea and we're going to start a company, what would be your best advice for them?
I think what I think is the best advice, and you'll hear this in different versions from different people, but to make sure you're doing because you think it's important and because it's something you want to do. A lot of people want to start a startup because the idea of doing a startup is cool, or the idea of owning a business or starting a business, like that idea appeals to them, right? And whatever the idea is, it's sort of just the means to an end. And I think it's really important to make sure that you want the idea to be successful for its own sake, and not because it has anything to do with having a startup or being successful. I think that's probably what I've realized has kept me in the game the longest, is that I care about what we're doing. So.
Great. Well, thank you. So there you have it. That wraps up our startup interviews for the Medical Device Investor Forum that was held recently in Orange County, California. And I hope that you have some inspiration. I hope that you've heard these people talk about their products and what they've been through. They've had their fair share of rough waves, but they're keeping the course. They're getting on their board. They're wiping out. They get right back on and ride the next wave. And you can too. So I highly encourage you, if you haven't already, go head over to imua-services.com/IIPP, or again, text the word invention to 44222. Get in that beta program for my new program called Invention Idea to Profitable Product. So it just lays out kind of an overview of what you should know about product development, the first steps that you can take, crafting your pitch, talking about how to get in front of the investors that you need to connect with, and I'll see you over there. Until the next episode, Imua.
Mahalo for joining us. If you're new to riding the waves of medical device product development, or if you've been in development for a while already, Inspired by Imua is here to surf with you. Want to be a master of the waves? Text HANG10, that's HANGTEN, to 44222. We'll send you the most common wipeouts companies make in product development so you can avoid them and reach master wave status. Again, that's HANG10 to 44222. We publish a new episode every Tuesday, so catch us at inspiredbyimua.com. Imua!